Brothers and sisters, good evening to every one of you. Today we are gathered at this juncture in the struggle that we have ventured out so long ago. But this evening we have speakers to address you on the issues that you were asked to come to hear. Mr. Minister, Mr. Devat Maharaj, welcome. Mr. Maharaj, President General, Attorney at Law of the Australia General Workers' Trade Union, welcome. Brother Rakib Mohammed, the man who led the struggle with this particular issue. Today, Brother Rakib, we welcome you this evening. Brother Bhargav, we also welcome you at this meeting for everyone to have knowledge and understanding of the meeting. Brothers and sisters, as you well aware, and most people know that the Australia Union, led by our new President General, and before we have been doing and what we have been doing with the interest of workers, as you all aware, at the industrial court, also at the civil court, at the high court, when the government of the day, the PNM, who did not deliver the lands and the lots that were promised to the shareholders, the union took the battle to the High Court, which was dealt with by Attorney at Law at that time, and who still is Attorney at Law, Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj. Sometimes we forget, but it's just to go back a little bit to remind you that that battle was won at the High Court, and the Yeltsin judgment was delivered. And most of you know, and most of you experienced the hardship and struggle that you went through. From 2003, the then government at that time, and the Patrick money, appealed the Yeltsin judgment. And you must know that, you must understand those struggles and why your land was not delivered, why you did not get your land. That appeal stood in that appeal court until that time, until 2010, when the new government came to power. And the judgment, the appeal, was removed sometime in 2012, 2011. While all the infrastructure work was going on, nobody see that there's nothing new to do, you have seen. Today, comrades, I won't go into all that, but I want to just remind you why we are here. Today we have to address you. The first speaker will address you. We want you to listen. You come to listen. With your divided attention, respect everyone, and I'm sure we'll have a very good meeting. I want to bring on Mr. Bhargav, one of the leader of the movement in the city, one of the leaders who have advocated respect to lands for the housing and land for the lands 2 acre plots. As the Philly city, and we know we have several areas in Caroni that are still yet to be decided and determined. But he will give an overview Honorable.
Minister Devan Maharaj, President of the Australian General Trade Union, Mr. Maharaj, Jaglam, Saraki, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to be here this evening to give you a little insight of what is taking place at the Felicity section with Caroni, former Caroni workers. I know it's not only Felicity people alone with their problems, but it's problems throughout former Caroni workers throughout this island. I want to thank you all very much for coming here. Here could have been packed with people to know what is taking place, but was a too short time for that message to really go. But with everything going on there, they will surely get the message. First, I'd like to talk about the housing lot. Felicity, which are called the coconut. When people collected their documents for the housing lot at Prison Castle 2009, a lot of people got their ticket for Felicity Phase 2, which, when we asked, they call it the coconut. Well, at Felicity, the people who got their housing lot at Felicity didn't occupy any land from there. The reason why of this is because they know that that is their housing lot. But only some current workers went and started to spot in the land, and they were removed by the EMP. But later on, the 25th of March 2010, the Agricultural Society went in the invaders' ground in Felicity and stood up there and had a meeting, which she instructed or tell the people across here to go and occupy the housing lot that they will be given lease. So from then on, we didn't go like that. Who would like that? You know, you ain't occupying none of that land, hoping to get your land right there. Because those who know Felicity, who ain't know well, they just know, but who know Felicity, that piece of land is a very good piece of land. It is a high land which you could have your houses there. Now, when this happened on the 25th, we decided to bring up our group and start working on that. When the Prime Minister first meeting next to State Park, that is before she became Prime Minister, we went and protested there for 5 or 6 hours. That is when Mr. Norris Demarine was alive. He talked on behalf of us. With our little placard, we had probate EME and probe AFCT, which the Prime Minister gave us a thumbs up. Up to this date, nothing was done, but people still spotted in the land, and we want to get land for all this. Because right now, it is a serious thing. You know why? You know how many people waiting on this housing lot to build their house? This year was going to be 10 years. Check 10 years from when they closed 2003. People were still living at their parents' house. They got married, they had children. Some of them married their children by their parents' house. want the minister to think carefully. This is a serious thing. With our problems at the housing lot, well, in recent situation at present, the ministers have decided to go and have a short visit, not only in the housing lot, but also in our agricultural land. Our agricultural land, Mr. Basan Barat visited our agricultural land on the 9th of March last year. And he promised us some things, which was infrastructure. But we were victimized. Why I say victimized is because there are two sets of land there. Rienzi phase 1 and Rienzi phase 2. This is agricultural land. I'm not speaking about it. In Rienzi phase 1, almost all the people in phase 1 is from Rienzi. And Rienzi phase 2, the majority of people is from Esperanza. But what they did in phase 2, phase 1, sorry, they put in an infrastructure roads for very little amount of people. And the vast amount of people can go up to down the land. But phase 2, there hardly are people there. And the amount of roads went in there. To say, people cannot do not much, but the talk that is going on the outside is that Caroni people do not want to go to the land. Is that true?
No.
I agree that people want to go to the land, but the land is in a very bad state. They don't have bridge, they don't have proper roads, they don't have proper drain. All these sort of things. When these things are going to be accomplished, when will people go to the land to plant? Could you remember when Caroni was closing down? We gave a lot of courses on agriculture, and we people went and take it. What we take that to do to waste time? No, we didn't take it to waste time. So I'm hoping that the ministers and visit tomorrow, something should be done, and I want to urge every Caroni worker that the problems we were having, we had no other alternative but to come to the president of the Australian and General Workers to give them. And since we came to him, we have gained a lot of success. And I urge every one of you to start coming back to your home ground, because we need representation. When we was working, we had unions. We don't have any unions now. So you can come back to your own ground and be comfortable with your business fixing. Alright? I thank you all very much. And also back to you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's no secret that Brother Rakib, who was leading the charge and who still leads the charge concerning the Sweetener Road. You will hear Rakib in a while, but that's just what you appetite. The next speaker, a young, dynamic, serious advocate of workers' rights, human rights, and equality. Most of you have heard him, went to the Privy Council, went to the High Court, and won several cases. This young man came into the Ministry of Agriculture just for a short period now. Today, we are fortunate to have him with us, Mr. Minister. I want to introduce to you the man at the moment, Minister Minister of Agriculture, Brother Batan, Brother Devan Malan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, President of the Trinidad, the River Maharaj, and other elected members of the Trinidad, President Deputy, other people, other members. I had the intention of speaking today. My intention was going to the journal about the challenge. But I got an email from the Trinidad indicating that there was a meeting to be scheduled for 5:50 to speak about the sweetener loan, which most of you avail yourself via the ADB. The ADB was the agent for the UTC. The UTC was the real principal. And last week Thursday, the President General of the Trinidad, along with all of those on the head table here, we had a closed door meeting in Felicity to discuss the very same ADB loan along with the Chairman and CEO of ADB. Having recognized that, I thought that we would keep myself here at 5 o'clock. Dr. Ronald Manila, the Director of Business, very scheduled to speak on this issue as well as the large issue. Dr. Manila is up with Khadija still. He is scheduled to come down here for approximately 7 o'clock in the next 60 minutes or so. So just to fill the bit, following our meeting last week, Thursday, I asked the ADB and the Ministry of Food Production to prepare a note for Cabinet to look at the issue of the management fee for the sweetener loan. The management fee was some 2%, amounting to approximately $6 million for all, I think it was $6.6 million for all the investments made by the former Caroni workers. That was done Monday morning right when it was sent to Cabinet. And today's Cabinet meeting, Cabinet agreed in principle to honor the payment of the management fee to the workers of Caroni, all those participating in it, subject to the positive vetting of the Attorney General, provided there is no legal impediment. We at the Ministry of Food Production will be working with the Ministry of Finance to identify the fund within the Ministry, because we would appreciate that this was something not budgeted for. So we will have to look at within the existing funds we have in the Ministry to see where we can locate that money. I'm sure that within the next month we'll be able to locate that fund in order to begin payment. Also, Minister Mulan and myself had discussions with the Minister of Finance with regards to the loan itself, which amounts to, I think, approximately $120 million. Of getting discussion started, the Minister of Finance is, it's just how we proceed from there. And all the way, we are working with the Trinidad to ensure that whatever information is revealed passed on to the membership. These are some of the things we are dealing with in terms of the sweetener loan and the, as mentioned by Mr. Babu before, the issue of the residential lots and agricultural lots are also raised at that particular meeting last week Thursday. And coming out of that, a team comprising of myself, Mr. Mula, President General, as well as other members of the head table, will be going on a tour tomorrow to look at the situation on the ground, because certain complaints are made about infrastructure development. And I have a document here with me indicating that the PNS spent some $1.2 billion on infrastructure work in that very area. And from what was said by my members here, it appears that somebody's pocket was heavier by $1.2 billion at the end, because there was no tangible evidence of that money being spent at all. So we're going to tour in the area to look at what could be done and what could be done to try and resolve the issues. Bear in mind, the neglect of the last 10 years cannot be solved in 10 months. But the President children, will tell you that since we have started our discussion and conversation, they have seen movement in terms of a solution for a number of problems that we face over the last few years. One of the issues, the residential of Manila falls under his unit, and we have him to address when it comes. But in terms of the agricultural front, we have advertised on the newspapers for persons to come and take up their leases. From Caroni, we have the individual letters. Some of the difficulties we have persons are not coming forward. So if you do persons who apply, and these lots have been allocated, come forward to Caroni 1975 start the process. So if you find that your location is not suited to itself, we can go to Mr. Jagu. This government has been keeping to Mr. Jagu as far as possible. We will make these swaps. So if you are living on this side and if you are put in deep south, far away from Manila, and we have somebody up on this side who get out of the to live in deep south, we will make this switch so that you would get a piece of agriculture closer to where you live. Mr. Jagu indicated at that meeting that one of the difficulties he encountered was that people are not going on the prescribed date to the Solicitor General's office to sign these agreements. And persons choose a day when they go in and talk for other business. And when they show up at the Solicitor General's office in public chambers, they are turned away. And that is because there are not people there just waiting to deal with that. So if you give my date, I will please go on the date. I would like to have a meeting with Mr. Jagu to perhaps try and see if we get a thing for him to probably reentry on a public period of a week or so, and see if we can keep it as much as possible in this location rather than have people go up in Port State. But again, this is an idea. I don't know what restrictions the Chief Solicitor Office may have, but as you know, that an independent feature of the Constitution, and we can't dictate if they have a particular process, we have to adhere to it. So, movement is happening in Caroni and it does not have much to keep as I would like it to happen. I'm sure the union and itself, but the processes we have to follow in order to make sure that we comply fully with the law, and so as to protect all parties concerned. We don't want to get your land now and find it in the road in some kind of difficulty with it. So, in terms of the management fee, which is now, I think that has been sorted out in the full circle. There is the loan interest payments and so on, and that is receiving the active attention of the Minister of Finance as well as Minister Mila and I are driving the process. So, I'd like to thank the union and the membership for their patience in the last decade, where a lot of injustices have been committed upon by the last administration. But however, I have given the assurance that we are working assiduously to correct those wrongs. And the President General can tell you, within the last 6 weeks, the achievements that we have made in correcting some of the wrongs of the past. So those students that I can thank you for that.
There's no question time here. Well, we show after. No, we give him a that will be the question. Thank you, Minister, for your address and information that you have disseminated to the audience. Please come.
This was I was saying that, you know, in the media doesn't fall underneath mention. Right. So, originally was the people of everybody. telling them we are not taking back the land. These lands will be continued as part of the package. And we would not, having come out of the bowels of the king field, do something like this. So this would be addressed at a higher level. Alright?
Thank you, Minister. I hope that answers your question.
After the meeting, and I asked the excuse trying to get the campaign up here. Dr. Mulila will come shortly, so he will address any question. If there is any question, we will have collector. So if you have a monitor, it's at the end. If not, Dr. Mulila will. Alright, thank you very much.
Give me a applause. Brothers and sisters, your response to the question was just asked, and you will make it quite clear. I hope you understand what he said. No one will be removed from those lands anymore. So you can sleep comfortable. The next speaker to address you this evening, as I said before, was the champion and the mover and shaker of that struggle of the Signal Law. I now bring on the podium Brother Raki to address you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Devan Maharaj, President General of the Australia General Lucas Trade Union, my assistant, Brother Ramdev Bhavin, and all our hard-working committee, I want to welcome you all and say a very good evening to each and every one of you all. My dear brothers and sisters, July 31st, 2013 will be exactly 10 years that Caroni has closed the doors to all former workers. It was a brutal plan by the then government at that time to victimize all sugar workers south of the Caroni Bridge. The reset plan was implemented by former Agricultural Minister John Rahal, the Honorable John Rahal, and he was arrogant to all our workers, and all of you remember that very well. And he, who had implemented a document saying that you can have your cake and eat it too when the signal plan. My dear brothers and sisters, the Agricultural Development Bank and the Unit Trust formulated the sweetener plan for all Caroni workers, and it was guaranteed at that time that the plan would never be fulfilled. All of the Caroni workers who had invested in that plan were given 2 documents. Each and every sugar worker had that document. And one was Caroni visa participant. You can have your cake and eat it too. And life goes on after Caroni. And in that document it stated that if you invest your money in the Unit Trust ADB plan, Signa plan, your money will mature in 6 years and the plant will never go into default. Based on those two documents, each and every one of us here went to AEP and Unit Trust and signed a contract. And this is where the mistake was made by all candidates. We were conned by the former government of Trinidad and Tobago. We were conned into signing something that we did not receive in these brochures that we got before. So, my dear brothers and sisters, it took us 6 years. And in 6 years' time, ADP will write you and tell you the plan went into the gazette. And they will repay the loan. So they like you and they like me. They like you and they like me, so they pay off. Over $167 million, they pay you off for me, they like me. But there was a group that was formed in 2009 called the former ex-Caroni Workers Association, who took up the matter with all different attorneys and experts. Money was paid to these people and we got no redress. 2 years later, I was approached by Mr. Ramdev Bargavan because I was in our staff pension plan for the staff workers of Caroni, and he begged me to intervene in this Caroni plan. And I was furnished with documents upon documents concerning. But we didn't need all these documents. All we needed was to read and understand how we were come. My dear brothers and sisters, it was stated in the plan that benefits will be invested under the individual retirement account. The investment will double in 6 years if it earns 12% per annum. However, the current annualized return is 26.12%. So, it was if, and that is where the legal aspect came in, and we were confident. A loan up to the amount of investment will be immediately available at 8% per annum. And no loan installment will be payable until the investment doubles. Lo and behold, 6 years after, ADB and Unit Trust came to you and told you, contract finished, money done, everything going into business. All shareholders are happy. But it says here clearly, no loan installments will be payable until the investment doubles. They didn't wait on that. But the document is signed at 80. That is the core document. And then the loan will be insured for the event of untimely passing, the full amount under the investment will be available. And we didn't sign this document. The and government of that time neither signed a different document. Then why else would this guy? At the end of 3 years, my dear brothers and sisters, Friday 9 June 2006, UTC launched an energy fund. And it stated in that fund, and I will quote, by Mr. Alexander, Executive Director, Mr. Michael Alexander of the committee. In all, 3,000 people brought a total of 23 million units at a value of $328,491,220. Total value as of June 2006 in the PSEP sweetener plan is $373,170,200, which equates a dollar return on 44.6 million, or 15.6%. So remember well, what you said was at 12%, but it earned 13% in first 3 years. It earned 13%, so it was not in arrears, it was above. Because of the growth and income fund investment guarantee, which applies after 3 years, the loan can never go into default. And then lawyers didn't see that. They didn't see that. They take two stupid man to see that. So, the loan can never go into default, he said, and the invested value is assured to all Caroni workers who invested in the Caroni research sweetener. This is not my document. This is not a Trinidad document. This is a document that was published in the Guardian. You can go back to the archives of the Guardian. You can go back anywhere you want, and you will find this Friday, 9 June 2006. And it reads on top again, Unit Trust to launch Energy Fund. This was reported by Unit Trust. Lo and behold, in 2012, Mr. Winston Rangai was a member of this group. We met with Salisha Hassan Ali from the Guardian, and she did this document, and everything was explained in this document. And then the UPC now would say in that same page that they are not responsible in this ADB. So they will go into ADB and they will go to the activities. They will never, and all them take it on their gone with it. Is that clear? Of course it is not. So my dear brothers and sisters, we started negotiation. Prior to me being in the negotiating team, there were a few guys who labored and labored and labored without success. In 2012, October 6, 2012, we got a meeting with the minister, and he got in contact with Mr. Devan Paraj, and he called us on the 8th of October, 6th was a Saturday, and on Monday we had a meeting. And he agreed in principle that the 2% management fee that you all would have paid would be given back. And since the 8th of October 2012. Further to that, we met with Basan Baras on the 9th of January this year, 2013. Same team, and we explained our position. Legally, we did not have a position because we signed a different document. But we were firm, and I continue to say that and I will always continue to say that, we were formed by the PLM government in 2003. When we met with Mr. Bazar, who is a financial expert, and we explained the situation with these two paragraphs that I read from before, he said legally we didn't have a case. But you remember in 2001, on the moral and spiritual values, the government was chosen. So in this case, on the moral and ethical value, all voters who are investing in any future plan are entitled to part of them, or if not all. And Mr. Barata agreed with that. But you know how things work in the government? You know how things work? Red tape here, red tape there. Mr. Barata told us, Mr. Pastor Barata told us he will meet us in 2 weeks' time. March 27th, he gave us a meeting. Lo and behold, on the morning of March 26th, he called and said, we cannot have a meeting again. Somebody in the office, Father died. So we have to go and pay respect to that person. He said, no problem, give us another day. He said, the 5th of April. While going in the bus, we are to travel with Maxi and taxi and you know. While going in the bus, we got a call that we didn't cancel again. So they take me for food there. They take me for food. Like is this government I'm telling you about? This present government.
Go green.
And after that, members who were with us got frustrated and they kept dropping off like driving. But 2 people served. Mr. Bargobin and myself. Together, together with the legal advice of the President General of the Original General Workers' and we decided from what way, anytime you will see having any meeting, anyway, we put the placard down. Everybody was invited. But you know, when they had the Monday night forum, we did it in this. Telephone call over $100 from one man, the Caroni ex-Caroni workers. 10-15 people show up. One of our members, Mr. Vincent Ramlan, who was working so hard with us, was supposed to be at my house at 5 o'clock. So we got this placard. He didn't show up. He called me on the telephone to tell me that our placard was drawn in that US drug. That's what he told me. And you can ask him that. And we still went on. And if you look at the Express, after the Monday night forum, you would see myself, Mr. Balwin, Mr. Timana Mohammed, Mr. Jaisima Ramsula, and 2-3 other fellows. You would see standing on the ground and writing placard in the meeting. In the Express newspaper, in supposing, you know what I'm saying that? Like the end of finish island and the meeting done. But this is not it. We could have got locked up. We could have got beaten for every single one of them here. And when we put up that placard there that night, it was 4 or 5 placards we put up that night, immediately someone was given to us. deputy political leader called in the back and said, "Come on, back here, what we talk?" I said, "Time for talk, done. We fed up talk. We want action." Say, "Oh, love you protest now. We need to organize people." I said, "No, it does not like that. It does not happen like that. We will continue the process here. We will continue this placard here until we meet with you. And if we did not meet that same way, we will go back to the next Monday night meeting again." Long road. Wednesday after was the holiday. A team from the group met with the deputy political leader, and we walked through the whole plan and through where we were spun by the government of Trinidad, by the then government of Trinidad, and he understood it. And he said within the weekend he would call me. That Saturday evening, I think it was 4 o'clock, I ended up and proceeded to felicity the farmers meeting, where Mr. Rienzi Maharaj and myself, Mr. Caroni, and he said we were not together. But you know what meeting going on telephone Saturday? Minister calling now, message don't reach. Calling now, we met on Sunday morning, briefly, and then on Monday night, things started through. We met with the finance minister, 2 deputy political leaders, and other ministers. But they only happen in principle, they only happen behind the meeting, not in writing. But we trusted. And today we are here. I understand that the management fee that you pay and I pay will be refunded to you very shortly. It was passed in cabinet, subject to approval by the Attorney General for legal administration or whatever. So we are sure that we are getting back our 2%. But we are all that. So if you are interested, $100,000, you will get back automatically $2,000. That's 3%. But what about the 3 years of the profit and pay taxes on too? I assume that 3 proposals from the accountant which we hired. Suppose we presented to me, so we can look at the national. That is for approximately 120 million that the UTC will made in the first phase. So you all are entitled to 2 sets of money. But we have the application waited 10 years now. The 2% will be paid as early as possible. Once the legal papers pass through the but the proposal for the $120 million to be shared among 3,000 Caroni workers, that is finished and will be presented to the Minister, the leader of government business tonight, for approval in Cabinet. And you know first, then I'm going to go and they're not taking the money. You will take money where all you get money. So when you came in here this evening, you were asked to sign a document there. And that document states, we the undermentioned ex-Caroni workers who invested in the UBC ADB sweetener plant authorized the ADB to deduct $50 from our payment to ex-Caroni Workers Association for verification, accounting, legal and management. Is that reasonable now? One So, my dear brothers and sisters, this is where we reach so far with ADB Sweetener Plan after 4 years of intense struggle. So I want to assure you that we will keep in touch and we will be behind this government like God to get our money. So, my dear brothers and sisters, rest assured we are okay. But things don't happen overnight. You have to have education today. But the 2% management fee that was passed in cabinet today, we want that money before 29th of July, which is Shogun's by election. Shogun's West by election. What do you think about that? So when Dr. Ronaldo Villar gets here, he shall do the night. And you know, we have a lot of people like the investigation. So much study in this Sweetener Plan. We all understand family organization. If you need to ask any question after, feel free to meet me outside and Mr. Malwin will answer. We don't want to keep you all too long yet because we are still waiting on the Minister of Housing. Still have Mr. Devan Maharaj bring up the date on the land situation. But before I leave, people would like to investigate, like the Express, the Guardian, and all the other media houses. I want them to investigate one or two things which relates to all Caroni workers. One, the staff pension plan, where there was $79 million surplus. I would like the Attorney General, the Inspector of Insurances, the Governor of Central Bank, the Minister of Finance to investigate Caroni 1975 Limited, Northern Life, Republic Bank, and Caroni Consultant for all $79 million because it's our money. Number two, we would like the Attorney General, the Prime Minister of this country to investigate Caroni 1975 Limited, the EMB for the $1.2 billion we have spent in our land and up to now we can't get our land. Full investigation, forensic investigation we want. So, my dear brothers and sisters, all the people who like to investigate, investigate that because they only want to investigate is the children brothers outside and this big company outside. We are people and citizens of this country, my dear brothers and sisters, and we are ex-Caroni workers, and they have taken our money, they have taken our land, and they have taken everything from us. We want that investigated too. And all those who are responsible for that should be brought to justice. So, my dear brothers and sisters, before I leave, I would like to thank Mr. Devan Maharaj the President of All Trinidad General Local Trade Union, and his executive for the great help that they have been giving us recently with this sweetener plan. And I would suggest to Mr. Maraj and his executive that all these crop and bull farmers who they have all around, calling people, get rid of them and form our own farmers group. So, my dear brothers and sisters, I would like to thank each and every one of you for listening to me so attentively. And may God bless each and every one of you and hope that we will be successful very soon. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Rakesh. Give a round of applause again. Brothers and sisters, comrades, you have heard it in depth of struggle that is carried out by Rakib and others in the executive. And even in that stage, people got down, people get discouraged. But two men stood up and continued the battle. And it came to us, the Alternative General Local Trade Union, which people think is dead. But we are alive, we are strong, and we are eating. And we are there to stay. Under the new leadership, under the young Caroni as the law, and we have our own right, I would say, school. So we are in the union business, so we know. Brothers and sisters, a young man who was struggled with starving, being a gunman, struggled, who had went to prison in the 1970s, was charged of treason, arrested, and was jailed. But fruit, a son of a struggle, a fighter, who has now leading this evening, Antonio, President General, to address you, Brother Nirvan Maran.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Brothers and sisters, I think today is a day in which we could be pleased, very well pleased, and the efforts that have been made on behalf of the ex-Caroni workers, and not only the Criminal Workers Trade Union, but also the ex-Caroni Farmers Group, Mr. Duncan, Ahmed, and Mr. Martin. I think they deserve a round of applause for the efforts. Just on my correction, Mr. Jabbar, my father was charged with sedition and he overthrew the government in 1978, and he, together with the rest of them, politically detained. And they were not imprisoned in the sense of they were not criminal, they did not commit any criminal acts. They were politically detained, but most of them were what would have transpired in 1978. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have very much to say this evening because I would have articulated the position of the Trinidad. I would have articulated the pain, frustration, the misery that many ex-Caroni workers were undergoing as a result of the lack of action on the part not only of the past regime, but also, I can say, could be a lack of action on the part of this government as well. I can say since June 2012, we have made many efforts in order to solve the difficulties and the outstanding issues. When I became President General the last time I addressed you, I took one vow, and I told my executive that I would not rest until every single issue affecting the ex-Caroni worker is dealt with, simply because the All-Trinidad General Workers' Trade Union has a moral and ethical responsibility to those who have been the foundation upon which this union was built. That is the ex-Caroni workers for many, many generations. You labored in the cane fields, and you labored in your kitchen gardens, and you labored with your livestock in order to carve a life for yourself in this nation. And I told my executive that never again should the ex-Caroni workers ever be used and abused. Never again should they be treated like second-class citizens, and that it was our duty and our responsibility that we must not fail nor must we falter in ensuring that the ex-Caroni workers are treated as first-class citizens of this nation. When I embarked on that struggle, we held many meetings with ministers of government. I held meetings with Basan Mahalak, I held meetings with Dr. Mula, Minister of Housing, meetings with Minister Devan Maharaj, meetings with the EIB, meetings with the Commissioner of State Lands, meetings with Caroni Limited, 1975, all in a bid to solve the issues that the ex-Caroni workers were facing. And the issues were many. And I think the most daunting task that I faced was that I always told the executive I could understand if the ex-Caroni workers are treated in a particular way by a particular government, because that government will always think that you will never support them. But what I could not understand is when you were treated in a particular way by those who you were trusted. That I could not understand. And I asked the question many times. I said the time had come for us to find out why. Why were we being treated by those who have stood on the backstreet or peddling the power? Why were we being treated in such a negative way? Why were we being treated with such disdain and such contempt by those who were supposed to solve the issues for you? And I found one thing out. In many instances, members of parliament, ministers of government often depend on the advice that was given by their advisors and officials in different state agencies. And what I found out, and this is not to take away blame from anyone, but what I found out was that in many instances, ministers of government were being deliberately or inadvertently misled by officials of the state agencies who had their own particular agendas, had their own interests at heart. And when we began to reveal to these ministers some of the issues that were facing the ex-Caroni workers, it was as though a light was not dawning. Because many of them read or imagine, I can't say for sure whether it's true or not, but many of them reveal that in many instances they were unaware of what was happening because they were leaving it up to the state agencies to implement the visa package. And when I spoke about the Nielsen judgment, and I spoke about the fact that Justice Nielsen in 2007 delivered a judgment in which he stated that every single ex-Caroni worker was entitled to a 2-acre plot with all infrastructure in place, irrigation and ponds, and that they were also entitled to a residential lot with all approvals in place, and that they should receive those lots and plots by 2008. When I looked at this judgment, I became extremely sad because the campaign and government was Mr. Gala were indicated. When we are sick, passed this court order, it became appealing decision of the LC. And in this judgment, the LC indicated that if the government, if it so desires and it so wishes, has the capability and the capacity and the resources to expedite the process of the distribution of leases and lands to the ex-Caroni workers, if it so desires. And you also said, a denial of these leases and these lands and the time that it was taken to deliver these leases and lands were tantamount to an abuse of power. An abuse of power on the part of the government and a denial of the legitimate expectation of the ex-Caroni worker. That came from Justice Garrison. It was a court order. And the PNM appealed that judgment. And that matter rested with the court for many years until it was eventually withdrawn by this government, the People's Partnership Government. And the People's Partnership Government are not to be totally exempted from liability in enforcing the Garrison judgment. Because maybe as far as I am concerned, it took too long. But I want to believe, because I choose not to believe otherwise, I want to believe that many of them were simply misled by certain individuals and state agencies. When I took a tour in the city, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, it was one of the saddest experiences of my life, as I indicated to the city 5 days ago. I saw flooding, I saw a lot of drainage, I saw a lot of crossings, a lot of property irrigation. I saw an ex-Caroni worker attempting to build a drain through a 2-acre plot with an ordinary hoe. I saw a drain where sewage was actually passing through a Caroni land there because there was supposed to be place. I saw lies, and I saw deceit, and I saw deception on the part of Caroni in 1975. Because members of Parliament and ministers of government, by a cabinet note that I was privy to, was informed that less than 5% I think of Caroni lands were being cultivated. And what I saw in the city was farmers attempting to cultivate the 2-acre plots without any support being given to them by Caroni in 1975, or those who were responsible for the development of infrastructure. That is the grains of the irrigation of our area. And when I saw this cabinet note, it became very plain to me what was happening. There was a conspiracy on the part of several state agencies in order to give the impression that the ex-Caroni worker did not want his land, were unwilling to plan, and as such, these state agencies, the land should revert back to them. And it was a blatant lie, because what I saw with my own eyes revealed the truth to me. And because of that, because of what I saw, I said it before, and I will say it again tonight. In 2003, Jerry Hospitalis was the chairman of Caroni Limited when the sugar industry was shut down. They were responsible for the provision of infrastructural works to the plots and providing a smooth transition for the ex-Caroni worker from the sugar industry into becoming farmers in their own lives. And they failed to do it. And Jerry Hospitalis and the Caroni Limited 1975 board has miserably, and I will say deliberately from the information I have received, failed the ex-Caroni worker and have breached their duty to the ex-Caroni worker. And as such, as I said before, I'm saying again to the government of Trinidad and Tobago, you cannot allow those who are the architects of the destruction of Caroni Limited and those who are heaped untold misery and frustration upon the ex-Caroni workers, you cannot allow them to maintain their positions in these state agencies. And as such, I'm again calling on the government to immediately fire Jerry Hospital and to immediately disband the whole Caroni Limited Board. We must not allow them to continue. They have funded us before. They have treated you like dirt. They have treated you like statistics and numbers. Because these are the people who send the recommendation to shut down the industry. And these are the people who deliberately refuse to put things in place to ensure that we carry on our lives after Caroni. And these are the individuals who deliberately did not do what was needed us for the years in government. And these are the individuals that this government still have leading Caroni in 1975. And these are the individuals that must go. And I have been in discussion with Caroni in 1975, and I don't have a copy of the proposal that I would have given to them. Caroni Limited 1975 asked this union, they requested us to give them a proposal. Because when I revealed to the national community what was being done behind the scenes and the conspiracy that was taking place, they are cracked. And to a hand of the leases and economic lands. And they asked this union for a proposal in order to see how best the union could assist Caroni and the other government state agencies in delivering the lands and the leases onto the next Caroni workers. And we sent them a proposal. And that proposal stated, I can remember correctly, to find a means by which the ex-Caroni worker could become an integral part of food production and sustainable development in Trinidad and Tobago. To find a way in which using the tobacco crops, the ex-Caroni worker could contribute to national development. I told them, I said the Trinidad will act as a medium to bridge the disconnect between members of government and the ex-Caroni workers. Because many of them would have forgotten them. Once you place that X, not forgotten. I said we will act as the medium. To date, we have had no response with regard to that proposal, and that proposal was submitted in April of 2013. And again, I'm wondering whether it's deliberate on the part of Jerry Hospital to ensure that nothing is ever done to alleviate the difficulties the ex-Caroni workers are facing. I don't know. But I see that Caroni in 1975, they are speaking of the Caroni Growing Initiative, where they are going to come to the ex-Caroni workers after you have been given your leases, because if they come to you before you have received the lease, you could tell them, leave your premises, because you are not the legal owner of your 2-acre plot or residential lot until you have security of tenant and you have received the lease in your hands. And it was shocking, you know. I will get back to the information, but it was shocking that out of 7,224 2-acre recipients, 1,224 received leases. Now, standing balance of almost 5,000 leases. It was even more shocking to know that out of 7,000 persons, more than 7,000, who were supposed to receive leases for the residential, only 1,339 apartments. And none of the city, if I may say so myself. This is a travesty. It is a travesty of justice. It is a travesty of everything sacred. And it is a travesty and it is pure disdain and contempt for those who have labored with the plantation fields of this nation, to feed this nation. For those of you who I have said before, who have never depended on political patronage and handouts to survive, and who would have done what you have to do to survive, to educate your children and put food on your tables. That is a discourtesy. But I am pleased for one thing. In my meetings with the Minister of Housing, Dr. Mulala, I have been assured by Dr. Mulala that he is taking a personal interest in the affairs of the ex-salary workers. I don't know who else was supposed to be there before, but Dr. Mulala has indicated to this union that he is now taking a personal interest in the affairs of the ex-salary workers. And that in 2 weeks' time, the lease distribution will again begin. I think it's 2 weeks' time. Leases for residential lots and leases for utility plots. There are 4,000 leases before the Chief State Solicitor. There are 1,500 leases on the Commission of State Lands and Deaths. And these leases are being expedited so that it can be given out to you in order for you to get security of tenure. For this, I am happy, and I have to give credit where credit is due. Dr. Milan would have assured me that this would be done as expeditiously as possible. I can't come here and talk about the bad without talking about it, but I must be fair. I must always be fair. I would have said to this government on numerous occasions, do not turn your backs on those who are supporting you. Do not turn your backs on those who are the foundation upon which this party is built, and those who are the foundation upon which you stand. And finally, I have an undertaking, and in law, the term undertaking means that it will be done. It will be done. I have an undertaking from Dr. Mulala that he will ensure that this outstanding issue of ex-salary is dealt with. And I have an undertaking that I can't give you a guarantee. What I can tell you is the Trinidad Workers Trade Union will not rest. I took that vow, I will not rest until every single issue dealing with the ex-salary worker is settled. I want to tell you this. When I assumed office, before I was a legal advisor for a few months, and then I assumed office as the President General, I heard many things. I spoke to many ex-salary workers who expressed feelings of hate and discontent, feelings of though they were betrayed, and I'm speaking openly by the Trinidad Workers Trade Union. I heard those things. And when I heard those things, I said, never again will you be used by anyone, and never again will you be able to say that your Trinidad has been created. Real or imaginary. And that is why I took up this trouble, to ensure that every single ex-salary worker is given their due. We will not fail, we will not falter. We will do what we have to do to ensure that your lands are given up to you. I've always said, if we open a quarrel between the past and the present, you may very well find that we have lost the future. And so once again, we must come together, and we must unite together, and stand by each other. The ex-salary workers group must stand with your Trinidad. And you must stand with us, and you must help us to help you. That is the only way we can solve these issues. We, the ex-Caroni Workers Group, led by Mr. Zakir Mohammed and Mr. Malbudin, and the Trinidad General Workers Trade Union, will continue to work together to ensure that your issues are solved. Like I said, we have an undertaking by the Minister, and we will operate on that undertaking until such time as we believe that the undertaking is not being completed, and then we will act as we have acted before. The Green Initiative sound theoretically an excellent plan once it is voluntary, and once you, the ex-Caroni worker, voluntarily says I'm going to rent my food club. Because I have become very suspicious of one issue. We have an issue where EMB is issuing letters to ex-Caroni workers telling them that if you do not plant or use your toilet in a 3-month time period, they will take back the land from you. And at the same time, EMB is doing that. Caroni Limited is speaking about a Green Initiative where they are coming to you for you to rent your land again. So I'm wondering, and I will say no more, but I'm wondering if there is some complicity between Caroni Limited and EMB. I'm wondering, and I'm not saying there is, when the lawyer will be very careful. I'm wondering, and you should also wonder. And so the Caroni Green Initiative, an excellent point, theoretically. Practically, we must ask several questions. One, what is the annual fee that will be paid to the ex-Caroni workers for the use of the school club? Number two, will the ex-Caroni worker be given a share in the profits that are being made by the farmers that are being contracted by Caroni Limited 1975 to plant the lands that you are going to share? Because, let's say for example, they want to give you $1,500 per year for your total profits. But they give $50,000 a year profit on one harvest. That can't be fair. Cannot, should not, and should not, without questioning, should not enter into that program without questioning these things. Are you going to share profits? What is the fee that will be paid to you? Is there a plot? Is there a conspiracy between EMB and Caroni? I don't know. I'll answer the question. How is it that Caroni in 1975 could develop the toilet crops for the Green Initiative program, but they cannot develop it for you, the ex-Caroni worker plant, when that was a part of the DSU budget? These are questions that we have to ask. And so I say to you before I close, you must be very, very careful. Because that which you would have earned by your sweat and your toil and your tears could easily be taken away from you. As I said before, through nice promises, by form of policies and regulations and programs, it could be easily taken away from you. And if you don't have a lease and they come to you, you might even contemplate that issue of Caroni. In fact, any ex-Caroni worker who is approached regarding Caroni Initiative should come to the union immediately and let us know what's happening. Because we are here to defend you. We are here to seek your interests, because I told you, and I vow to you, never again will you be used by anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, as I close, I want to tell you this. The old Trinidad is alive, it is kicking, and we will stand by you. We will support you. We will not fail you, and we will always seek your interest. This is the dawn of a new age and a new era in your Trinidad. And even if your issues are settled, ex-Caroni workers and former members of this union, if you should ever have a problem, the doors of the Rienzi Complex and the Orchard Guard will always be open to you. I assure you that. I thank you.
Thank you, President General. Madam Maharaj, I just have two announcements to make to you. Now, the brothers in the northern areas of the city have organized. You in the south, you can also mobilize and organize for meeting in that area. So we can come and address those in that area, because the issues is not only in the north, not only in the central, but it's also south. I have just spoken to the Minister Munira, and he told me that he will not be able to make it because of the meeting. When we fix another meeting, we will address you. So we want to thank you, God bless you, safe journey home.
Money land them free, boy.